Do you think that work-life balance is something real or that should be aimed for? Whatever you genuinely believe, I want you to hold on to that thought over the next 2 minutes, because I want to go over how you're actually going to achieve your bigger than life goals, if you could do it with work-life balance or if you should just negate it entirely. First, where did all of this work-life balance belief come from? It really became a thing over the last 50 years. Before then, no one gave it any thought. No one cared about it. There was no concern or thought to burnout, stress, overworking, etc. But today, it seems like that's what everyone is focused on. Burnout, stress, overworking, even pleasures, etc. And honestly, this is why I believe that so many people either have depression or are just so underachieving in life. They're neglecting temporary pain for short-term gratification, which then just leads to long-term pain. My belief and personal life choice is not working 24/7, at least in the beginning. And even in the beginning, I don't think you should just work and then do nothing else. That will not really help you. When I first started my business, I was working 12 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week, profiting sometimes less than $0 to maximum $400, which was not very good. In my second year of business, I was working more like 6 to 7, sometimes 8 hours a day for 4 to 5 days a week. And by this point, I was profiting no less than $800 every single week. And I realized that in my first year of business, half of my time was just on the wrong things. Now you could argue that in my second year, the only reason why I did better or even good in general was because I learned from the mistakes of my first year. And to a degree, I'm not going to argue with you, you're fairly right. But in my first year, I wasn't prioritizing learning. I wasn't prioritizing working smart. I just had one belief and I stuck to that all the time. Issa, you need to work more, you need to work harder. And in my second year, I didn't drop that belief at all. I still knew that I still needed to work and I still needed to work hard, but I worked on different things. I knew I needed to work smarter, which is a big part of this work-life balance fugazi. So why are we taught to believe or prioritize work-life balance? I'm about to talk about some conspiracies, so time to put on our tinfoil hats. If you don't have one, pretend like you're wearing this one. Just pretend like you're grabbing it. Now, I know a lot of people who just talk about work-life balance all the time, saying that it's the most important thing in the world, and it's not true. And they are normally the ones who don't have what they want, as in their bigger than life goals. My belief is that work-life balance was introduced for a reason, to keep you okay with just living a mediocre life and not striving for more, to make you okay with doing unmeaningful work in exchange for money, which is what we all need to survive. Most people that I hear talk about balance in life and work are the ones who don't work jobs that they like or who don't do what they like. Because everyone I know who actually does work that they enjoy and who are working towards their meaningful goals, none of them complain about work. None of them say, oh, I need to balance this, blah, blah, blah. They're just fine with doing work because they enjoy it and because they've built and curated that lives for themselves. And then the people who are working jobs that they don't like, after they're done with their work, they really only have 3 to 4 or 5 hours max a day to work on something else. But they don't do that. Because by saying that you need to have this work-life balance, they just think that it's okay to rest and just not do anything extra because they already worked, so now they need to relax and make up for the time that they worked, aka they need to balance it. Therefore, they become trapped in this forever cycle of wake up, work, relax, repeat. Also, when you are in this constant repeat of life and cycle of life, it normalizes your brain to just complacency. When your work takes care of all of your financial needs and even a little bit of your wants, that makes you fully complacent. You no longer want to work more and give up some of this complacency and some of this regular life to then later on have more. We stay stuck in this trap of neglecting, again, short-term pain for long-term pain. I hope that makes sense. You no longer want more. Instead, you just stay in the cycle until your quote-unquote retirement comes due. And we mainly hear about this from media owned by big corporations. They are the ones who are especially pushing this agenda because whenever you have a class of just pure workers, it makes it more profitable for the top guys. And this isn't me saying quit your job, don't do that. But know that if you really do want to live a meaningful life, assuming that your work doesn't do it for you, you need to spend that free time that you get outside of work to actually work on a project or a business that will get you closer to that meaningful life. You need to spend that free time working on something different. And tinfoil hat moment over. I can finally get closer to the camera again. And really quick, if you're enjoying the video, if you could please subscribe, that would honestly really help out the channel. Thank you. And the first way to do this is by working smarter. Working smarter is getting more output for your input. In the first year of my business, my average day would go like this. I would spend the first 4 hours of my day training one person. And then the last 5 hours of my day, I would just be working with one of my workers, helping them with their tasks, which was not practical nor helping anyone. My second year of business, training would really only take 2 to max 4 days for one person to really learn. And I would spend the first 2 days teaching them. And then I had my other friend who was kind of my partner who also helped train them the rest of the days. That way it freed up more of my time to then approach everything with a more team-like aspect. That's one example of work, but say you don't have a team, but you still want to do smart work. There's a lot of ways to go about it, as well as it's fairly simple. You need longer smart work hours, as obvious as it sounds. Please don't be one of those people who only work 4 hours a week. That's not possible. Unless, of course, that's all the time you can put into your work because of school or your current job. That's the only time it's really acceptable. Say you only have 1 hour of the day to do cold outreach or to do cold emails. It makes more sense to just send out 6 personalized emails where the person gets a free gift and a lot of personalization compared to if you just sent out 60 generic emails. Don't work less, but do more in that less time. And doing more does not mean quantity, but it means quality. Every time I speak to a potential customer and I don't personalize it, give them a free gift, or make it about them, my closing rate drops significantly. Whereas when I do personalize it, I do give them free gifts, and I really make it about them, my closing rate increases exponentially. I'm way more likely to close them and get the sale. And this brings me to my next point, time and energy. Something that I hear a lot from the people that I've mentored or even trained in my business is, don't I just save more time by doing one thing on mass scale as opposed to doing one thing personalized and then doing it again personalized? And the answer is yes, you save more time, but the results are nowhere near what you get if you just spend more time focusing on the quality. And I'm making this super generalized because this can apply to literally anything, any business, any offer, any type of work that you're doing. It's fairly similar to when you're in the gym. Whenever you really push to failure on every single set, you're going to get greater results over time. And that's the goal. The goal isn't to be rich today, it's to be rich tomorrow or even next week. Essentially, if you're going to spend the next hour doing something, you might as well do it to the best of your ability. And I know that it's much easier to just mentally check out and just do something based on repetition, muscle memory, or just doing something to hit a certain number. But whenever you really push for that last rep, you really push to make this email very personalized and make it the best you can to the person, or really just focus on what the other person wants, that's when you really get the results. And that's what this is about. Getting the results, getting the output, and making the most of your input, therefore, so you can work smarter to get the bigger output. The time doesn't change, but the action in that time is what changes. And that is real smart work, as well as really utilizing your time and energy. And the thing is, with your energy, regardless of what you do with it, it's going to replenish the next day. Regardless of if you barely worked or if you worked super hard, you're gonna have that same energy the next day. And what I've also noticed is that when you spend a lot of energy, you in a way work out your mind. Then that way, the next day or the next week, it's much easier for you to do that same input. And now you can even do more. So don't worry about overworking yourself in the moment, because that's just not going to happen. You're going to get that energy back one way or another. So all in all, it's very important to put the maximum input into every single thing that you work on, especially your bigger than life goals, which I'm guessing is most likely a business or something that can really help you make your own money without having to work for someone or doing something that you don't like. So continue to work on it, or even start working on it, and don't focus on what other people tell you. Just focus on this big goal and this big achievement. So hopefully this video helps you out. This took a few years for me to realize, and now this is the way that I go about everything. And honestly, it very much has helped me with not just my business, but multiple different aspects of my life as well. And I do hope that it can help you out as well. My only ask, if you made it to the end of this video, is join our community, where it's me and everyone else around us who are fairly similar minded to me and you. And also check out the newsletter for written version of these, because written form always just hits a little bit different in my opinion. So yeah, with everything being said, thank you so much for watching the video. Also check out isafire.com, a lot of free courses and resources on there as well. So one last time, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.